Alas and ahoy and g'day once again to ye mateys! I be Josh the Pirate, and it brings me a volcanic caldera full of pleasure to once again welcome ye to the Humblewood. Above me I have my hearty crew, the refreshing Rachel Foucar, the reliable Mitch Earnshaw, the recondite Dan Suelto, and the rambunctious AJ Winters. And behind the scenes today, we have once again that reprehensible beast, Serum76. Who is currently sitting at a 7 on his vibe check. There you are. We must also shout out to our radiant artist, Breepie, whose artwork you can see on screen right now, and the deck of many who are the minds behind this particular setting. I'm also overjoyed to announce that Wood & Forge are back on board as our sponsors for another season. They design and manufacture high-quality wooden tabletop gaming products like this. And they are local to WA. They make them out of beautiful Australian and exotic hardwoods, and they do incredible work. Check them out on their website, woodandforge.com. Look at this. It's got... The glue smells great. The leather smells great. There's little padding bits inside so you can put your minis in and it doesn't get broken. The magnets are really strong.
I shouldn't have to tell you to not sniff glue on stream, but please continue.
I'm breathing in a little bit. It's really good for me. All right. I must also... It is very good for my headspace. All right, guys. We should talk about who you guys are and where we can find you. So let's go with Rachel. Rachel, where can we find you and who the hell are you?
Hello, my name is Rachel Foucar. I'm a writer, actor, creative trash at large. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rachel Foucar. And you can also find the book that I wrote, The Rings of Mars, right here on this internet if you feel like reading some sci-fi. And if you don't, well, I will just have to break into your house and steal your second favorite set of dice. Not your favorite, because I'm not a complete monster, but your second favorite set are mine unless you buy the book.
Fair. Valid. Alrighty. Well, then, Mitch, tell me who the hell you are.
How you doing, everybody? I am Mitch Earnshaw. Mitchell Earnshaw, one of those two. You can find me on the Twitter, Mitch_Earnshaw, where I share things that amuse me and tickle my fancy, like cool sumo moves and shit like that. And this is where you find me on Twitch, here on Roll for Damage. And on Wednesday, on Corsair's Cove.
Yeah, you will.
Looking forward to it. Getting to play Nevermore's opposite, Always Less. So
cool, marvelous. Alrighty, Dan, tell me who you are and where we can find you.
Hello. I am Dan.
Always Less.
I am DRF on Twitch chat and on Roll for Damage's Discord. Come hang out. Also, I'm Austin the Humblewood peeps. I'm sure it's going to be mentioned later. Bizarre Humblewood on Closest Go for Wednesday. And I'm in a one-shot Wednesday, not the coming Wednesday, but the one after, and then fortnightly from then on.
Yes.
For Avatar, where I play a mop-wielding non-bender. And otherwise, just come hang out. I play a yeehaw wizard man who really liked watching his friend's dad die. So, good. Maybe we can get a free meal today.
Oh, well, here's a question, actually. Does Benneck actually like Nevermore?
Here's
AJ,
the real question.
who are you?
Does anyone...
Does anyone really like Nevermore? Exactly. AJ, who the hell are you and where can we find you?
Hi, it's me. I'm AJ Winters. I am from Winter's Tales. I am struggling to make sentences tonight. What am I doing? I make world-building episodes every Sunday on Winter's Tales that you can check out because I'm building a world one step at a time that I will host and DM a game in next year. That's my intro.
There you are. Woo!
just what's your name again? Sorry.
Woo! I'm AJ Winters.
Don't you forget it!
Yeah.
Are you playing a character tonight?
I am playing Jude Littlefoot tonight.
No. Who are you playing tonight?
Do it.
Hold on. Jude Littlefoot.
There it is.
Yay!
Nice. There we go. Bam.
It took a bit, but I'm there.
There it is. And I be Josh the Pirate, ladies and gentlemen. I am a DM and creative around Perth, WA. I am also in a puppet show with the Mother of Money's Pupperotica. You can check that out at Fringe World coming up this year. I'm also a producer for hire, and generally I do a bunch of creative business around Perth. If you enjoy my face and voice, you can find me here on Roll for Damage on Monday nights for Humblewood, and then over on Corsair's Cove on Thursday nights for more Humblewood, and this Wednesday for even fucking more Humblewood, because I just can't get enough of this crazy weird setting. It appears to be where I spend a good portion of my evenings now, and that's absolutely fine. If you like the majestic voice, but you think I could stand to tone the face down a bit, you can also check out my vocal stylings over on There Be Dragons. It's a 5e D&D podcast in a fantasy gunpowder setting where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Skern Felspar and his little dragon Hrosh. So, as in, it's short for Hrosh Valur, which is a Viking sea monster thing. I must also remind, it's sort of like the sort of aggressive seahorses, but like a sea lion, but with a horse's head, but the size of a whale.
That sounds made up.
Like sink ships. Yeah, it is made up. It's a Viking thing. I must also remind our calm, relaxed, and possibly even insouciant audience to please like, follow, and subscribe all the things. We have all the socials, and you can catch up with episodes you missed on YouTube.
Socials.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's fine. We're all good. Everything's fine. It's also worthy to note the Spellfire bar, which is sitting at a very healthy 37.47% down the bottom of the screen. Any donations, bits, and subs, all go to fill it up. And when we get full, we roll on the deck of Many's harrowing deck. And we love it when that happens. We've done it 3 times in Humblewood now, and it was fine.
It was fun.
It was fine.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I think it would be just jolly for someone to stop and talk off into the void for a few minutes. Who would like to do that?
Look. I
think it's Jude's turn, right?
I think it might be better if I talk.
Fair.
I've got my words back now. I know I was a little bit wordless at the end of last, Well, I didn't really have anything happy to say right now, nor do I wish to dwell too much on the events of the past. The positives are we won. We defeated the immense flaming elemental entity, and Phil died.
You don't know that.
The negatives, well, Benneck lost all of their magical equipment and had to run around like a headless vulture trying to find a spell book, getting emotional along the way. I had to talk to Jude about sexual intercourse. And it turns out that conversation with Jude was one of the last I was to ever have with my father, because he's dead now. He took the Borealis, and in the binding circle, he sacrificed himself to banish and vanquish
There you are.
the elemental. So yes, Lazarus is dead. My father's dead. And I'm going to miss him dearly. And I'm not quite myself right this moment. I probably won't be for some time. But something Riffin said resonates with me. My father paid the sacrifice so that nobody else had to, for the betterment of the Humblewood citizens. My father, Lazarus, was a hero. Always was. Always will be, and he will be remembered as such. I have nothing more to say.
Well, mateys, may your parents stay alive and healthy, and eye-dwelling entities answer all your burning questions as we head tremulously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion, into the Humblewood. So, we are left standing in the scorched grove. The fires are already dimming. The elemental power that sustained them shackled again, and for the first time in centuries. Nevermore sits cradling the body of his father, the brave, though complicated hero, Lazarus. By his side stand two of Lazarus's closest friends, Riffin the Ash Knight and Susan the Seer. The Dean of the Avium, Gabe Winsworth, stands off to one side, busying himself with examining the conjuration circle he just used to seal the path back to the plane of fire. Scattered all around on the floor are red and white shards of glassy rock, which glow softly in the dying firelight. What are the other three of you doing?
Leave Nevermore to his solace and grief. It's not my place. I go around and I guess distract myself from the gravity of the situation, cementing reality, so to speak, by going around and taking stock on number of casualties, etc., who was left, the damage.
I'm gonna go up to Nevermore and just put my arm around his shoulders and just say, I'm so sorry.
Got nothing to be sorry about, Trish. And I'll pull one of my arms up and put my arm around her. You smell like sex.
She took a bath? Come on.
How would you know, Nevermore?
I couldn't help myself. No, I didn't say that. Thank you, Trish.
No worries. Also, I take it the Borealis is like destroyed. Is that the glass that I see around me?
The bits of glass on the floor. Make an investigation check.
I will.
Will.
Investigation.
Say whip.
First official roll. Oh.
How do we do?
Got a 19.
Alrighty, yes. You notice, these are, it basically looks like somebody took a hammer to the Borealis and just shattered it.
Okay.
Equally, though, however, the red ones are very similar, but not from the Borealis.
In my head, I'm going to think to Irilath. Should I be doing anything with those shard things, or should I just be, I don't know, spending time with my dead father?
She says, what you choose to do with your deceased patriarch is your own choice, but I would advise gathering as many of those as possible before you leave this place. They are still, they're not as powerful as the Borealis was, but they still retain a fair amount of magical energy. And enough of them together could be used for non-optimal purposes.
Okay.
You actually would see the Dean already poking one with a stick. It's like, and when nothing bad happens, he actually holds it up, holds the tip of the stick up and looks, and there's icicles frost on the tip of it. And he goes, yeah, very scientific.
Is Jude okay?
Yes. What is Jude
I'll
doing?
go check.
Jude is softly weeping, just on the floor.
Oof. Well, I'm going to leave Nevermore to his grief and go check on my other friend who's crying. Are you all right, Jude? Okay.
I saw Helvig. But no one will believe me.
Oh. When did you see Helvig?
He killed Lazarus.
Why don't we just get back to the city and we can talk about this more when you're feeling a little better, okay?
You do not believe me.
Jude, did I ever tell you about my grandpa Tom?
No.
Well, I was really close with my grandpa Tom. People used to say we had the same eyes, and he taught me how to fish when I was little. He died when I was a kid, and I took it pretty hard. And for weeks afterwards, I would see him, and I would see him. Someone would walk into my dad's shop, and I'd run up to them screaming, "Grandpa Tom!" But it wasn't him. I just wanted it to be him.
Never mind. Jude walks away.
All right, we have things to do, I suppose.
The dean says, the dean would say, I am, well, I think I'll, this place needs to be secured. I think possibly what may well have happened, actually, is that the wards wore down over time. So the way to prevent this from reoccurring was probably to establish a permanent sort of fortification around it and a staff of people to maintain the conjuration circle. If it is well looked after, it shouldn't ever actually degrade again. I thank you very much, Susan. Your assistance was invaluable. And he bows deeply to her. And she sort of bats him off. And she's still obviously deeply saddened herself. He says, and my deepest sympathies to all of you for your loss.
Can we rely on the avium to do something about manning the post?
I shall confer with the council to see that a permanent guard is put up upon it, both magical and physical. If anybody wanted to cause significant problems in the wood, this would be an excellent thing to disrupt. So, yes. A solid guard would probably be wise. And thinking of wise things, those are pieces of the Borealis. And there's probably 200 or 300 littering the ground around you. So now 1 or 2 probably wouldn't do too much damage. But if anybody had, say, I don't know, half a dozen or so, they could probably manufacture really quite a nasty weapon out of them. And several hundred, of which there are, you could probably reconstruct something not as powerful as the original, but certainly a decent facsimile. Not a weapon I would fancy anybody having. The red ones, on the other hand, if I had to hazard a guess, what we just did was take 2 opposing equally powerful forces and smash them together. So if one broke, the other one would probably have broken too. So it's entirely possible that the red ones are similar. I believe it wise, and I leave it to your recognizance here on this one to tell me if you don't think you agree, that we gather them. I will offer the avium services as a place to store them. And I will seek a way to destroy them.
Do you think destroying them wise? I only ask because what if they're needed again?
Or house them permanently. A valid point. Yes. No, a valid point.
Just as long as they're, safe and all that, especially since, the whole father getting in there, doing his thing.
Yes. Well, exactly. Nevermore, your father did create I have Ravania on it at the moment, actually. He
Good.
has, I've given him a new task to basically try and find holes in the defenses and plug them. He's a very clever man, I'm sure you're aware. So hopefully he shall have some success in this.
Is the rest of the fighting done?
At this point,
That's where I'm
Cash.
at. I'm trying to look around.
Benneck, you would have encountered Kesh on the way in, looking tired and dusty. Can we bring Kesh in, please, Serum? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a surprise for you today.
No.
Kesh is here. Kesh, you arrive soot-stained and battered, but generally reasonably okay from your battle the battle of your own that you've been leading. Several of your troops, in fact, a lot of your troops, are at least injured or hurt or killed. What do you do?
Cash comes running up and kind of skids to a halt. And he's like, what happened? Did it work? Is it over?
Yeah. I gesture towards the defenders as we probably ran towards them. Cash is in a hurry, looks like.
And she'll just kind of take it all in and look a bit confused.
It's over. We did it.
Good. Are you all okay? Is anyone injured?
We lost someone. Nevermore's father didn't make it.
Too soon, Kesh. Too soon.
You see Jude sadly playing her ocarina just off to the side, just crying and playing one note at a time.
I think that is what would break Nevermore, by the way. Hearing sad ocarina. As soon as the ocarina fires up, that's when Nevermore would just start, breaking down into tears.
Kesh is going to kind of catch Trish's eye and point at Jude and be like,
How about the losses on your end? You were staving off the other elementals for us. Thank you. Much appreciated.
the losses were heavy, but we did it. Well, you did it. Thank you,
Oh,
all of you.
we all helped. Everyone was crucial.
Yes, we're all very brave and talented. We need to collect these magic shards, though, and get the hell out of here. I'm sick of this place.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Very well.
Here we go. Magic gloves of abjuration, Helvig style. Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah.
How are we going to get my father? I'll just ask somebody nearby. How are we going to get my father's body back to Alderheart?
Oh, we'll carry him.
Okay.
Yeah, Nevermore. We'll carry him. And Kesh will get some of her soldiers to carry.
Yeah.
carry
half dozen.
Lazarus.
I'll turn and look at Benneck. Don't you fucking touch him.
I'm holding probably. I handed the crystals over, but I'm like,
Understood?
no. Yes, clear as crystal. Not those
Good.
ones though.
Thank you.
I'm no savage.
Uh,
It crosses the line.
Oh, as in you were worried he might eat him. I was just like, that came out of nowhere. Wow. Nevermore.
Please don't eat my dead father.
No, fair enough. Nevermore,
He's back and he's missing a finger.
Look, I didn't like him very much. Nevermore, you asked last week, and I think it was comedic, but you asked if Lazarus had any good loot. Lazarus has a suit of chainmail, which is highly personalized. It's worth 200 gold pieces, and an elegant, though not magical, longsword worth another 200 gold pieces. He also possesses a well-made short sword and a light crossbow. And his spell book, which contains firstly, it's worthy to note that his spell writing style highly influenced yours. You could almost certainly use his spell book as your own. It contains the following spells: Charm Person, Comprehend Languages, Disguise Self, False Life, Magic Missile, and Shield. Alter Self, Enlarge, Reduce, Invisibility, Misty Step, and Snillock's Snowball Swarm. Animate Dead, Sending, and Vampiric Touch.
You do us a favor and put that in Discord chat later on.
I will do.
Benneck.
Yeah.
I'll kind of just look at the book, and then I'll hold it out to you. You need a book.
No, look. That's yours. That's your father's.
It was my father's, and as my father's only child, I am giving it to you.
I have and he pulls out a book that's roughly like put together in like an emergency. It's barely like binded.
So you're insulting me by not taking a gift from me. Okay, sure, no worries. I'll put it in my bag.
As he walks on, he's like, oh, wait, I don't with any of these people.
Ouch.
Nevermore is salty in his grief. Super salty.
Alrighty.
Your father just to spite you now.
He's missing 3 fingers and a toe. A team of
We just had a bunch of gift subs, by the way. Sorry.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Lacelle, you
Thank you very
bloody
much.
legend, you. 42 point something percent. Heck yeah. Danger, Bart Simpson. Okay. Will Robinson? I think that is Will Robinson's the original one. Anyway, yes, a group of 6 Wildwood Brigadiers come in all armed with staff weapons like spears and halberds and so forth, and utilize them to form a rudimentary stretcher with which to carry Lazarus back to Alderheart. Which they proceed to do. You are offered a place in the sort of stretcher-bearing situation if you want, Nevermore, but they say they'll happily carry him without you having to.
No, you carry him.
Okay.
I've already done enough.
Sure. I presume you leave his armor and longsword and everything on him for the now.
Yeah, I'm not going to strip him down now. We'll deal with that
you will
stuff when we
inherit
get back
it
to
all.
Alderheart. Yeah.
A little early for corpse, Robin.
Yeah, you're not going to loot the body just yet. Benneck, you and the Dean would get all the gems, at least as many as you can possibly find. Can you make me an investigation check? This is
And while he does that, I just want it to be known, Josh, that when my father's possessions are gone through, I want to be very careful and looking around for any notes that he had hidden in his bag or in books or anything like that.
Sure.
Just because, he's secretive. So anyway.
Yeah.
19. Also,
19.
while I'm going around in the explosion area, are all the daggers I have blessed also kerfuffled too?
With a 19, you can find 2 of the 3.
Okay.
Plus you've still got your glowy lightsaber dagger.
Mhm.
But yeah, you got 2 of the 3 blessed ones as well back. One of them, nothing disappears quite as fast as a thrown weapon into a forest.
Yep.
But yeah, you find 2 of them, and yeah, I would say you get easily. You are very thorough with your gathering of the gems. You may have missed 1 or 2, but not enough to cause any sort of major havoc. You begin to ready yourselves to leave. Trish and Jude, do you do anything else? Either with each other or separately. Kesh, do you have anything to add to this scene?
Only that Kesh would, be following Lazarus's body and making sure that no one kind of interferes with it.
Yeah.
Because while she understands, and even herself has some mixed feelings about Lazarus and his history, she's astute enough to realize that he sacrificed himself to make this happen. So she's not going to let anyone kind of
disrespect him at this point. It is worthy to note as well that he is being borne back to Alderheart not by Perch Guard, but by Wildwood Brigadiers, almost all of whom would have been former bandits. In fact, there is only 1 birdfolk in the squad that's carrying him. The rest are humble. Jude?
I think Jude goes to Benneck. Just slightly away from everyone. I liked Lazarus, but is it not strange that he is now a hero when we know that he did bad things? I feel... I don't know how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I think I know how I feel, but it's understandable that you don't.
I saw Helvig in the fires.
Okay.
I don't
Like-
think he's dead.
Oh.
Trish won't believe me.
And that hurts you?
I feel crazy. He's dead. He's not dead. He's dead again.
Yeah. No, I get that. He kind of like shuffles, like adjusts his like shirt or robe just to fidget. Nothing like really. Seems like he doesn't know what to say. And then he goes, well, what do you think now? I mean, that's new information. It's okay to change your mind about some things because you got given new information. So you think he's alive because you saw him?
I do. But Jude is the stupid one, so maybe not.
Hold up. What? You're saying Defender of Alderheart, Jude Littlefoot, is stupid. Nah, don't put yourself down like that. Come on, you saved the day. That took a lot of courage. And courage is different from stupidity.
I just got knocked out again. Jude did nothing.
You stood by. I saw you dive in front of that fire just to protect the people who are supposed to be restraining this fuck off aspect thing. No, you did your best, and I don't think anybody would tell you otherwise. That all of those things, the choices you made, were stupid.
I don't know. Jude, Littlefoot, defender of all the hut, stood by and died. Real hero.
But you didn't die. And
Oh,
I guess you grew up in those kinds of stories where a hero stands triumphant, etc., as if they're invincible to everything. That's not real. You're real. He like walks up to you and like lightly like goes to like hover hands on your shoulders to see if you're okay with it, and then like gently places his hands. You're real. You're here, and the Wildwood Brigade are just many among others who believed in you and the other defenders. They believed you would fix things, and you did. That's real. That's not stupid.
I believe in my friends too. But I do not know if I believe myself. If I can convince my friends that I'm not crazy and that Helvig is alive, it is a miracle.
Who has the spine?
I do.
Can you make me a perception check, please? Where is it?
It is a nat 20, so 26.
Where is it?
In my backpack.
Jude, on your back. No, is it? Well, you don't have a backpack. You've got a. Bless you. You've got a the fanny pack, the muffin bag.
The muffin bag of holding. It's my backpack.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. Sorry. You can feel, in the muffin bag, there's something really warm. And you pull it out, and the spine is almost too hot to touch.
If she drops it, go and pick it up.
And you notice that it is also too hot to touch. Like it burns you.
I do the thing where you do like hold it at
Hot potato.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the least surface area of holding it.
With your claws as well. Like
Yeah,
you
just
can
like,
probably. Yeah.
This was from Helvig's, right? And it's fucking hot, and I just witnessed this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know him much, but
He's in the plane of fire, I think. You know,
I mean-
the one we just closed.
right. I mean, guess now the heat kind of makes sense. I keep hot potatoing it. I do it. He tries to be funny about how he's holding it, as if like, just trying to cheer Jude up. He's very clumsy and He's not really good at all this emotional shit.
No.
-1 wisdom, -1 charisma.
I would say he was reasonably good at that.
Yeah, but because that was he stuck to facts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you do with the hot potato?
I don't know. I keep doing it until it cools down.
It's not cooling down.
I don't think it's cooling down, by the way.
Can I test if it burns clothes?
It doesn't set anything on fire, but it's warm.
I put it back in my backpack then.
Yeah, you'll just have a warm back.
I have permanently warm muffins now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You do that. Cool. Alrighty. I'm going to say, unless anybody wants to do anything else, you return to Alderheart. Triumphant. Yeah.
I just
let's go
stick
with that.
by Jude, and every time I think Jude is gonna go into like a sad like spiral, it's just like, hey.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you get back to Alderheart. It's early morning by the time you make it back. You're all probably exhausted. Susan has been carried the last little bit of the way by Riffin, who is staunchly just trudging along. He's not a big strig either. He's barely taller than Jude actually, but he carries Susan like she weighs nothing. And you are met at the gates by basically everybody in Alderheart that stayed. The bucket brigades are still very much out in force, putting out the fires. The tenders are all out there, but it would seem that the threat has passed. The fires are dimming. You return to your lodgings. Kesh returns to her headquarters. Unfortunately, no rest for the formerly wicked. So I'll say thank you very much to the mother of bunnies, Karen, for joining us today. If you want to see more of Kesh, check out Humblewood over on Corsair's Cove. The campaign's name will be Humblewood of Monsters and Magic, and should give you maybe a little bit of a clue about what it's going to be about.
It'll be exciting.
Nevermore would have definitely given Kesha a hug, goodbye, and words of thanks. Thank you for coming to our aid when we needed it, coming to the aid of everybody in the Humblewood. You're as much a hero as all of us.
Oh, thank you, Nevermore. I appreciate it.
And apparently,
I am sorry about your father.
Thank you. He, yes. I appreciate that. Stay safe, Kesh.
And you.
Jude doesn't say much, but does a secret handshake with Kesh that they made up a while back.
yeah.
Love it.
I just whisper out of Nevermore's earshot, like, and apparently if you ever need any folk eaten, come hit me up, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, Benneck.
That's a joke, please don't. Unless you really hate them. I guess. Use your judgment. And he walks away.
I'm gonna pull Kesh in for a hug and just say, take care of yourself. Don't get stabbed.
Always good advice, Trish. You don't get stabbed either.
I'll try.
I'll be very mad.
Cool.
We all just go back to fancies and debrief.
I
You know?
mean,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm saying
Or
that
did you
once.
just
I'm
wanna
saying that
rest?
once Kesh took off, basically.
We will say goodbye to Kesh now, everybody. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks,
yeah.
Bye,
Karen.
everyone.
Thank you.
See you soon.
I might just check. Please don't turn off your camera though, Karen. Otherwise it'll mess them all up.
I'd rather talk now while things are fresh, only because if we rest and we sleep, then we go to bed with thoughts in our head, and they can grow into more.
Here's a compromise. Can we have this discussion with food in front of us? Because I did a lot of
yes, that's what I-
sprinting today.
Yes. I'm
Good.
Yes.
Same page. Love it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fancy rustles up it's very much a sort of slapdash breakfast. There's the provisions in the city are actually sort of running a little low, but yeah, she manages to put together a perfectly serviceable breakfast for you.
Fancy?
Yes?
Can I have a whiskey, please?
Fancy? Ooh. Fancy looks a little taken aback for a moment and then goes, yes, I can, yes. And she goes and she goes to a dusty liquor cabinet in the back corner of the dining. There's a little a room for dining. That's obviously it's a B&B style thing, and yeah, she goes to a dusty liquor cabinet and it was like you hear clanking of half-empty bottles, and she pulls them and like, there we go, yes, and it's a 20-year-old single malt. It's probably wasted on Jude, but yes. And she's regained her composure by the time she gets to the bar, and she says, "Ice."
Yes.
She
I'll have
rolls
one
out.
as well, please.
She says, "I might just join you," and looks questioningly at Benneck and Trish.
Why not? I think we've earned it.
I guess if everybody else is drinking.
So she reaches down and pulls out 5 glasses with one hand, lines them up along the bar, and just pours the whiskey straight across, and does a perfect measure in each glass. And then you see her, she ducks down behind the bar, and you see ice cubes flick up. And clink, 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 until there is 3 cubes of ice in each whiskey. Stands back up and picks up 2 with each hand underneath without touching the rims now, and plonks them down in front of you, returns to the bar and gets her own. And she says, to you.
To rule number 3.
To rule number 3. She knocks it back, pops hers down, and leaves you.
I don't actually drink mine. I just place it in front of me for now.
My dad always had one of these when he got back from fighting. It smells terrible.
Yes, it does. Oh, you okay there, Jude?
Damn.
How'd it go?
Why? Oh,
I think it's an acquired taste.
And I also
Why
think
would
it's
you
supposed to
drink
take
that
your
willingly?
mind off things. It's a good way of taking your mind off everything, isn't it? When all you can taste is burning pain.
That's
Yes.
true.
the
And the
burning
buzz
pain.
afterwards. He drinks his.
Is Benneck enjoying it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice
Thank
and woody.
you. Thank
smoky.
you, all of you, for
Yeah.
everything.
Anytime.
We did it.
Yeah. So strange. It's been such a threat for so long, and kind of feels unreal for it to be over now.
You okay, Jude?
Jude takes out Helvig's spine and puts it on the table.
And
what's happening?
And the cloth underneath it, after about it takes a couple of minutes, but the cloth underneath it does start to singe.
What's going on?
Helvig is alive.
Can I ask what makes you say that, Jude? It's a big statement. I don't disbelieve you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just asking why you think that.
When the monster was killed by Lazarus, I saw Helvig. And he was the one that finished the Lazarus. And then he was pulled back to the fire plane, screaming.
That's big news. I didn't see
know.
any of that.
I know. And I know it doesn't sound believable. And I know I sound crazy, but I feel it. I know.
You don't sound crazy.
Sound traumatized.
Trish and Nevermore, can you make me a perception check, please?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Nice.
You both notice this then. It has taken until about this point. So Fancy's tablecloths are very thin and lacy, and this one is now singed underneath where the spine is laying. You see a small wisp of smoke.
Kind of like reach out and tap it with my talon, noticing the heat.
Even as you move your hand close to it, you can feel a slight heat radiating off it. It's warm.
You know what? Can I just make a suggestion? We don't really have anything to do now that, we saved the Humblewood. Why don't we investigate? It's what you're good at, isn't it, Jude?
I am a detective.
And the
there
reality
it
is
is.
that I've got nothing to go home to. I've got nothing else to do. So, fuck it, why not? Although I would love to get out of my head. And to buy a boat.
Is that the order priorities?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Benneck,
Yeah.
will you join us? Please?
You are a savior of the Humblewood.
Don't say that. I'm just more surprised he said the P word.
Peasant?
No.
Oh.
You drink. You drink.
Oh. Fancy.
She comes back in.
But
Another?
Unfortunately, yes. I said the
I'm
P
not-
word.
I'm not certain, and this is said with care, that this is necessarily a good idea. She says, pouring Jude a second shot.
I mean,
Drink it slowly. Let the ice dissolve. Okay.
Eat some of your breakfast, Jude. That helps. It makes it
Yeah.
feel better. Mm.
Seriously, though,
I cannot
You don't-
feel my tongue.
you don't have to come with us, Benneck.
Huh?
I understand if you want to go do something else. I mean, you kind of were assigned to watch over my father, and that's kind of a pointless job now.
Yeah, it's over now. I'm not bound to the avium. I already
So what do you-
graduated.
So what do you want to do, Benneck? What are you going to do now that everything's done?
Well, actually, I don't know. I lost quite a bit yesterday, and part of me wants to go back to the avium. They probably wouldn't like that, though.
Why?
Did I say something?
Why would they not like you to go back to the avium?
No, I'm welcome in the avium. It's fine. The
Insight check.
Jude, first make a con save, then you can make an insight check.
Got it. 21 Constitution, baby.
Doral.
Turns out Jude ain't drunk yet.
Nah.
But so you don't have disadvantage on this.
Insight.
Jesus, that's 2 crits so far for Jude today. This is good.
I can roll
Yeah, but you
anything.
don't get an 8. But you get an 8. So I would say, I mean, Benneck, how are you really trying to deceive, or
I'm deflecting now, so
deflecting?
Yes,
All right, yeah, go on then. Make a deception check. Let's see if Jude can tell how full of malarkey you are. Yeah, it turns out Jude can tell that you're a bit full of malarkey.
Liar.
He's not. His previous statement wasn't towards the avium. The statement you called him at wasn't about the avium.
It's true. You said they probably won't appreciate me back. They. That's what you said, right?
So the next where you incited, where he was like, "Yeah, the avium. That's true. The avium doesn't mind him."
Who doesn't
It's just his
want you
last
back,
statement.
Benneck?
So can you repeat that?
Who doesn't want you back?
He kind of goes 90 yards there.
Because they are full of shit. We want you, don't we?
Yes, absolutely.
One of us.
One of us. One of us.
Oh, this is
One
embarrassing.
of us.
Oh, God. Amaranthines, please spare me. He just kind of like buries himself in the tablecloth.
How about this? How about you just kill time hanging around with us until something comes along that makes you not hang around with us?
And don't let that thing be Nevermore, though.
Or dying. Don't let it be dying either.
rules.
I can't die, not yet.
Not yet.
But sure.
Sound like you've got a mission.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Trish,
Yes.
are we going to go investigate this? Or do you have something you want to do?
Or someone.
We can look for answers. But I just want it to be known that sometimes answers can hurt. But we can absolutely look for answers.
What else are we doing?
I
Oh.
think questions also hurt.
I guess we can just put it out there that everything literally can hurt. Like the world is pretty cruel.
Yeah, I
Uh,
learned too much about sex yesterday. That
Oh,
can
shit.
also hurt. Didn't want to know that.
It's not supposed to. He's doing it wrong if it does.
What the
Nevermore,
fuck
you hear
happened?
in your head, Iralath goes, "I'm sorry. I really was trying to help."
I cannot feel my tongue.
That's normal.
How
Anyways,
about
yeah.
we all
I'll
just
help.
go lie down now?
That sounds
Because-
like a good idea.
Because we have something to do when we wake back up now.
All right.
Yeah.
You have.
Put your hand in.
Benneck,
Benneck. One of us, come on.
put your hand in.
One
One
of us.
of us. One of us.
Us.
Drunk.
One of us.
You don't
One
know
of
what you're
us.
saying. You're all
One of
drunk.
us.
One of us.
You're
Benneck.
all drunk.
Benneck.
Absolutely drunk.
Benneck, look at me in my face. Look at
It's-
me. Look, you're looking
Yeah.
at me.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You are one of us, whether you want it or not. You told me that I am not the stupid one. So you are not the stupid one either.
Why did you tell her that?
I mean, it's true though.
So you are one of us. Yes?
How did that link together though? Like, I understand that I'm not stupid. How does that make me one of you?
Because if you refuse, you are being stupid.
I can't believe this. Fine. Fine. All right. I'm just gonna look away.
Alrighty.
Family.
Family.
Because his hand is in the pile, you can actually feel him actually like recoil at the F word.
Oh, nice. You have a long rest.
Hey.
Dude, sobers up.
Pew, 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 pew.
Ow.
I would say from your con save and the fact that you only had 2 whiskeys, yeah, you can choose how bad the hangover is. But you weren't that fucked.
Just a tipsy Jude.
I would say you probably sleep most of the day away and wake up around evening. Sound about right? And you're back down having dinner. Fancy has done you up a treat, actually. She has done it would be a roast, but it would be like a roast moth.
Ooh.
Like the poultry in this world would be large flying insects.
Insects,
like
right?
a moth. So she's it's done like a chook, like the back
Found
its
and
six legs. Its 6 legs have been sort of tied together underneath it, and it's been stuffed with oranges and thyme, and roasted over a bed of baked potatoes. Roast potatoes and other vegetables. You are having this meal when you hear a polite cough from the corner, with the entryway to the room, and the council speaker Beta is there. I hope I'm not intruding. If I am, I'll come back later.
You hungry? Welcome to join us.
Oh, that's dreadfully kind. She comes over and says, "Do you mind if I join just to sit?" Firstly, I wanted to say, Nevermore. I'm sure you've probably heard this a lot already, but you have my deepest sympathies. Your father was a very brave man. Misguided at times, but very brave.
Yes to all of the above.
I have a proposition for you. Just a little one. Basically, the council would like to honor you tomorrow in a formal manner for your deeds. Your father has been conducted to the chapel. He lays in state there. His body has been prepared and preserved. And we would like to, the council would formally like to express its deepest gratitude and acknowledge Benneck as formerly a defender of Alderheart.
Oh, might you say he's one of us?
I would definitely say that. Peter
I mean,
picks up on
is there-
this immediately, and it's just like,
Is there like a way?
I would
like,
definitely
she'll-
say that. Yeah, he's
Excellent. That's good to know.
I guess if the council's doing it.
So I think it would be worthy at this point to sort of stress that the position of defender of Alderheart, it's sort of like a knighthood, a little bit, not to any sort of practical meaningfulness, but it's a rank very rarely conferred by the council in history historically, that people who perform exceptional feats of valor or service to the wood are acknowledged as a defender of Alderheart, and you four are four of the maybe half dozen total currently living defenders of Alderheart, and the other two would be fairly old, and Lazarus was not one.
We have serviced the wood.
You have serviced the wood thoroughly and repeatedly, and with vigor. She says, "I'm glad that. Would you be prepared to come? The last time we acknowledged you, you were not in the right headspace, I think. Unfortunately,
We'll be there.
Thank you. I think it's important, as you are probably aware, there is a little bit of disunity in the wood, and despite the recent danger, actually probably partially because of it. And while we were able to rally people together when faced with a common foe, we need to keep that going. I hope you understand. We need to show them an example of bird folk and humble folk working together. But that will be tomorrow. I've also requested, in lieu of payment, as the, I hope you can understand, we are not particularly financially solvent right now in the wake of the destruction, and all the funds we have are going to be going back into rebuilding a good portion of the Humblewood. So a financial remuneration for your services is obviously, I hope you can understand, it's not on the cards. But I have requested that the facilities of Shillout's sequestery are open to you. Shillout has recently returned to Alderheart and set up shop again.
Wait. You
You expressed an interest in a spa day a while ago.
Oh my god.
What's a spa day?
Yes, that payment would be fine. Thank you. I mean, you need the money for the poor folk.
We do.
And yes.
We must need money.
Fancilla has also agreed that you basically have permanent lodging here. That the council will underwrite ongoingly. Whenever you need a room in Humblewood in the Alderheart, the Blade and Talon is open to you. I don't believe she plans on keeping a room aside for you, but whenever you want one, there will be one.
Very handy.
The spa's open right now, right?
It will be open tomorrow. She's currently dusting, I believe.
It's all right.
You know
If we
how-
went now, it'd be a spa half day. We need the full 24 hours, Nevermore.
It's the
But we
evening.
can't go tomorrow for a full day because we have to do other things.
Why not just postpone that for a different day?
The ceremony will only take a half hour or so. There is a lot of other things to be doing, so
Okay.
I can make sure it happens early in the morning. Then you can get.
That
the
would be
policeman.
wonderful. Thank you. I feel much better.
She says, "Well, then I shall leave you to your dinner. Once again, thank you." And she gets up and leaves. Lets you have your dinner, and yeah.
I don't know why I'm not sad about my father dying. I'm not feeling, I don't know, grief.
Mm.
I'm
Because
sad
he's
he's
a
not.
hero.
I'm sad he's not with me anymore, but I'm not sad he's. I don't know. He went out in a good way, maybe.
Yeah, you like how he died.
Hmm.
I guess. Anyway,
He had a
Spa
long
day.
life, you know? I mean, you can't control how you feel about things. It is what it is. And he wouldn't have wanted you to wallow in it anyway. He'd want you to be happy.
you're right. He'd want me to go there and enjoy the spa day. Oh, Benneck, you don't know what you're in for.
I have no idea what this is.
Oh, you'll see.
Either.
You'll see. Jude, do you remember we went into the hot springs and
Yeah, we
That's
put
kind
mud
of-
on our face. Is that the
that
spa
was
day?
like a peasant version of a spa day.
I
We're
get
going to
dirty
be
anyway.
we're going to be dealing with the real deal. I'm talking pampering, plucking, filing.
What?
Yes, plucking of errant feathers. Feathers that, sometimes
Oh, yeah.
poke out, Yeah, of course, you know what I'm talking about, Benneck.
No.
Pruning.
Alrighty.
Pooping.
We will. You sleep the night through. You regain the benefits of a true full night's sleep. For probably the first time in a little while, you actually have like an actual good, honest to goodness night's sleep. Jude, do you sleep well? In fact, I ask this to all of you: do you sleep well?
I'm
No.
gonna roll for it.
The spine, I want to be clear, isn't getting any hotter.
Mm. I
But you
think-
could use it.
Just-
You probably couldn't use it to boil water, but you could certainly use it to warm a bath to a very pleasant temperature.
I think Jude has nightmares every night now that flip between Gerbine sex and Helvig screaming out in pain.
Oh God! I genuinely, this is Josh speaking, did not
And-
intend to mess up Jude's mind that badly. I thought this was helping.
As long as it's not
Well-
Helvig screaming out from Gerbine sex.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no.
usually separate, but let's just say Gerbine, like Jude is confused.
That's probably fair. Okay.
The dice said I don't sleep well.
Oh. Benneck, why do you not sleep well?
He doesn't sleep well because what plays out in his nightmare is seeing the defenders of Alderheart, I guess, everyone else's hands together in the little pile. In the background, muffled, is the chant, "One of us, one of us." And much clearer, both simultaneously in the foreground, but also not in front of him, is the other voices that aren't the three of them. Voices of people he once knew who are not here anymore. Voices of people he has associated with disappointment and failure. Repeating that, getting louder, until the hands dreamlike melt away in like fragments, both solid and liquid, blood-like, cooling down. And he sees himself in the reflection of this crimson ichor, slowly just drying up into the soil.
Wow. Trish, do you sleep well? I know I won't after that description.
Trish sleeps like a fucking baby. She is
Yeah.
pleased with a job well done. There's a bit of drama. She's a little worried, but she's more concerned with the fact that they just stopped the big horrible thing and people can start rebuilding their lives. So she sleeps great.
In a separate room to Jude.
I think it's possibly at least partially why she sleeps well.
Probably. And also just Jude, I think.
Jude wants her own room now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
Since learning
I'm
about the juice.
as I'm curling up on my mattress and I'm starting to doze off, my eyes are closed. I just kind of look up, and my dad, my father, is tucking me in, and he kind of kisses me on the head in whatever bird kind of preening thing, and he says, "I love you," and I love you too, Father. And I go to sleep, and I just sleep really well.
Yeah. I think it would be like I've seen a bird like run their beak along it's sort of a preening sort of motion. But yeah, it's a demonstration of care. Yeah, cool. Well, I think we'll go for a short breaklet while everybody has a snooze, good or bad. There's two sleeping extremely well and two tossing and turning, having horrible dreams of blood and sex. And not obviously
Together.
the same of both, but yeah. All right, let's go for a break while we don't dwell on that any further. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be right back with you. It's been a genuine pleasure, as it always is. We will be back at 5 to 10. Say goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
I do. All right. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we are back.
Ozo?
It's because you muted yourself, Serum. There you go. All right. Hi, everybody. We're back. Look at us back here. We are back. And we're all still chuckling a little bit from Nelderberry's harsh but fair comment about how the reverse of Helvig would just be alive Helvig. So
Unbelievable.
Helvig is alive.
Helvig is technically not.
Is he though?
actually alive.
Is he though? He's not physically here.
He's not currently he lacks for a physical he's similar level of alive to Iralath. Okay, so following day you awaken to a very pleasant after a good night's sleep, or at least a night's sleep, to breakfast, the smell of breakfast wafting up from Fancy's kitchen, and shortly afterwards I imagine Nevermore is like hustling people along.
Well, while I'm waking up, if I could just take a little bit of time, I talk to Iralath in my mind,
Sure.
and I say, so, this whole Helvig being alive thing, do you know anything about this?
Can you make me... No. Small Town Creepy, can you roll me a D20 in chat, please? This is to roll for Iralath, whether or not Iralath noticed. 12. Yeah, all right. Iralath says, when the aspect was defeated, I did sense something. When your father made a sacrifice, I have access to your memories, and I know Helvig's voice, and I heard a voice screaming, no, 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 no. And it could have been his.
I can't go to the fire plane, can I? Not with you in my head. Is that right?
You actually can hear, you can sort of, you know when you watch somebody think and you can sort of see the cogs turning? Yeah, it's similar deal. You can almost feel her thinking.
Feel them. Yeah.
You can feel her mulling that one over, and she says, it won't kill you. I'll head that off right off the bat. It might do something to me, though, and it won't make me manifest. But, well, I said to you before, I'm like a sponge. my presence, the proximity of a shard of the plane of ice helped. It wasn't nice energy, but it was energy. If you take me to the plane of fire, I'll absorb some more, probably quite a bit more. It was very concentrated in the Borealis, so it won't be, but it, if anything, it might actually speed things up.
But are you going to be a beacon?
Look, oh, I won't. To what?
Well, to elemental entities. Are they going to sense your presence? Know you're there?
No more so than they would sense yours. Anything that doesn't belong, you don't belong there any more than I do. If you're concerned that it's the sort of they are the natural enemies of my kind, I see your point. But they wouldn't be drawn to me any more than they would to you. And I'd lack for a physical form, so less.
We'll see what we can do about that. The whole physical form thing.
Yes, I appreciate your continued forbearance.
All right. Well, onwards to the day, I suppose. And then just
Enjoy
kind of
your
shut the
spa.
connection off.
Yeah. So you get to the council square, presumably shortly after breakfast. The full council is there, resplendent in their finery, beaming out across the crowd. The crowd itself fills the council square to bursting. Anyone who cares to make a perception check can.
Why not?
Okay, perceptionity.
Nevermore. Ooh,
Nope.
Benneck. Yeah, no.
Still reeling from that nightmare, I guess.
Dead set. Benneck, you're probably rather distracted by the fact that you're about to basically be knighted. So a bit sort of wound up about this. Benneck, in the front row, you can see Dean Winsworth watching up at you with a big smile on his beak and just a tiny tear in one eye. He seems, a solid guess would be that he looks proud of you. Trish, Jude, you notice that the racial variation in the crowd, the ratio of humble folk to bird folk, is about 2-1. Bird folk heavy, where the population of Alderheart before all of this began was probably bang on 50-50. It's just like the humble folk didn't come back. Like have moved on, don't some of them packed up, some of them went and left. But yeah, for whatever reason, there are way more feathers than fur. 22, Nevermore, you do notice that. You also notice Dean Winsworth in the crowd. You also notice, Nevermore, that just a couple, not very many, but there are a few who, they don't look like they're angry is the wrong word, but there are some people who don't seem to be as joyous about this. And you notice that the council have very fixed smiles on their faces. Like this is something that they're happy to be doing, but fixed is the wrong word. I'm possibly expressing it badly. They're happy to be doing this, and they're very glad that you agreed to do it, but you can almost sense that there's an ulterior motive. And recalling back to what Beta said, that ulterior motive would be reasonably clear to you, that they are concerned about unity and preserving it. Beta steps up when you guys get there, and you stand, and they make a big show of being sort of like, oh, look. Beta steps forward and says, "My fellow citizens, it is with great pride I present to you again the defenders of Alderheart, Without the dedication of these heroes, I don't think it would be an exaggeration to say that our way of life would have ended in these last few days. We welcome them back safely, with unending gratitude and inexpressible pride, just as it is we pay homage to all those we lost, many of whom died aiding these fine heroes. It is my great pleasure to present to you Benneck, latest to join their august company. And she, gestures to Benneck. And his fellows, Jude Littlefoot, Trish Caper, and Nevermore, son of the honored and sadly departed Lazarus. She turns and bows deeply, first to Benneck and then the other three. There is a roar from the crowd. As it subsides, she says, "These fine young people are an example of what make our wood great. People of all stripes and skills working together for the betterment of all." She then gestures to any of you to take the stage if you want to.
I'll walk up. I'll look at the rest of them, and I'll nod my head and I'll walk up. And thank you, everybody, for your kind words and your cheers, but what we did could not have been accomplished without all of you. You are all the true heroes of the Humblewood. We just played a small part in that. Now the trouble's been dealt with, and now the fires are dying down. We can begin to see what has happened and see how to rebuild. And that needs to be done together, everybody together. I talked to the bird folk out there in the crowd. Don't sit here in Alderheart. Don't sit here in the tree and go back to your privileged lives. Lend a hand. Because the humble folk have suffered. We all have suffered. We all need to come together now. Just as I and my companions did.
Nevermore, please make me a persuasion or performance, whichever you're better at. The response from the crowd is muted. It's positive, but it is muted. There's a rather, there isn't sort of a roar of applause. It is a yeah. There are a few like yeah, but they're not very. There's not that by far is it the whole crowd. Most of it is a general sort of a it's good, well said sort of thing. But you can see. I'll let your very high perception check carry through. There is clearly some resistance to that idea.
Yeah.
Not nowhere near universal.
Do have it has been pointed out I have a re-roll, but I don't know if I'll necessarily use it just here.
I don't know if a speech can change.
I don't think a speech can change everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of underlying
Trish's
tension.
was the thing is that like a speech can change things in a very short term, but over longer periods of time. Like Trish's speech did make a big difference, and you could certainly sway the crowd today. But could you sway their feelings long term? Yeah. That was
Everybody
great.
stay safe and love your loved ones. I'll bow.
Yes, Peter says, thank you, Nevermore. Thank you all for coming. It is important that we honor those that gave. Now, let us rebuild. Thank you. And it wraps up after that. Everybody sort of goes their separate ways and begins to rebuild their lives, either together or separately. And I presume you go to Shillout's Equestrian.
Yes, after talking about privilege, we spend the rest of the day.
Hey, look, you earned this.
My mouth
actually,
feels dirty from saying all that nonsense.
Actually,
I meant it, but it was
you
nonsense.
notice one more thing, Nevermore. You notice Havel waiting for you after you finished as the crowd departs. While you wait for them to leave enough so that you can easily make your way to Shillout's, you notice Havel standing in the crowd.
I'll gesture for the others, just to bring their attention to Havel as well. I'll walk over and bow deeply. Havel.
He bows deeply to you as well. He says, like, let's not have that conversation about who bows to who. You asked me a little while ago to look into those legends about the hive heart.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was important. From what I found, though, it's interesting. I've got some information. I thought you might want to know, like, as soon as I could tell you. I had to spend most of yesterday patching people up, but all those that can be saved are saved now, or at least they're not going anywhere. So,
do you want to walk and talk with us? We're on our way somewhere important.
Oh, all right, fine. Great, cool. Yeah, he says, so I've done a bit of digging. Haven't found too much, but I did find a legend, old legend, as in from basically the beginning of where tenders keep our records.
Oh.
The beginning of the last age.
That's old.
That is about as old as it gets. And it's fragmentary, like paper doesn't last very well if it's that old. I'm going to have to go through it all and have it retranscribed before it all just disintegrates. But what I found was a legend about a battle between two elemental creatures, fire and ice. Sound familiar? And in this battle, a chunk of the ice elemental was broken off. But in doing so, the fire elemental broke a chunk of itself off too. Now, after the battle, the tenders of the time, or actually they weren't even tenders back then, but the precursors of my order decided that these two artifacts could not be kept nearby each other. And in fact, that it was dangerous to do so. So one was sent away from the wood. But the legends don't say where it went, only west. I don't know how far it got. But given that we kept the Borealis, I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to imagine that that might be your hive heart. Given what you described and given its potential powers, which leads me to a question. Where did you find the Borealis? What was the situation it was in?
He wasn't a tree man.
What, like an ent?
Yeah. Said he was
guarding
supposed to be, guarding it.
Mm.
In his chest, actually.
Right.
It kept
Yeah.
It kept the guardian alive, so when he was separated from the Borealis, he
He died.
Wait,
Right.
does that make Helvig the guardian of the Hive Heart?
Well, this is what I think, because you would have to be so incredibly strong, like an ancient ant. Yeah, that might be. I mean, those guys are basically hooked up to the magic of life. He could bear to hold it in his chest. Dear God, your friend must be so powerful.
Yeah,
Eh,
he's the coolest.
Wasn't he just a hedge? No offense.
He was a strong hedge, a mighty warrior.
You told me that he had silver. I heard he had silver spines. How did
Yeah,
that happen?
I don't remember.
yeah, how
Yeah.
did that happen?
As if the fates themselves spun.
Like, did he always have silver spines?
No.
Yeah.
No, not when we met.
They became silver over time?
We
No,
were
just-
mid-battle and it just sort of happened.
Yeah, like Gaspard bestowed a gift upon him.
Well, somebody did.
Yeah, Gaspard.
There are other amaranthines, but he had a near deity level being in his chest. He was in mid battle and he needed protection.
Are you suggesting the aspect of fire did it?
I don't know enough about this. It just seems like it makes sense to me. Your friends died, right?
Well, we think so.
How? Exactly how?
He was eaten by one of those large flaming serpents.
An ash snake.
An ash snake, yes.
Right.
Not a normal one, though.
Yes, it was bigger. It
Fiery.
seemed to be
Okay.
intelligent.
Very rude.
Rude.
Mm.
Yeah,
Did
it
it
came to
talk?
me in a vision and was really spooky. And rude.
Could it talk?
Yeah.
You say it was rude. Ash snakes don't talk.
Well, it spoke to me a few times.
That's no normal ash snake then. I mean, this is an elemental plane. You can basically, you have it. What's possible is very much a moving target. Well, that's a lot to think about. Well, guys, that's the information I had. I hope that helps. Oh gosh, I hope it helps.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice, and you're standing now outside Chill Out Sequestry. You've sort of gotten there, and he notices where you're standing. Like, oh, have a nice spar.
Oh, believe me, we shall.
He says. He bows again, and yeah. Chill Out Sequestry is a large. It's actually one of the few buildings in Alderheart that's made of stone. It's in the upper branches, so there isn't like thick trunk to build a building out of. It is built in the upper branches, and it has quite extensive gardens. There is a hedge maze, as in a maze that is made of bushes, not just of people standing. A hedge maze, a maze specifically for
Oh my
hedgehog
god.
people. Yeah, and yeah, you have a relaxing spa day. Can each of you describe one particular treatment that you might enjoy having at the spa day? Or if you wouldn't enjoy having any treatments, what you don't enjoy, like if you feel awkward about it. Like, Nevermore, what's your favorite thing to have done to you in a spa?
I mean, honestly, I get absolutely everything done that I possibly can. And I think probably the main thing that I would have done, because I can launder my own clothes with prestidigitation, but I just love the sensation of being immersed in a beautifully scented bubble bath.
Very well. Love it.
I can't do that with my magic.
No. The bubble bath is actually several people. There are several tubes that go to the walls of the room you're in, and it's actually just people on the other side blowing down the tubes.
Amazing. And I'll have my unseen servants give me like a massage while I'm in the bath.
Oh, you wouldn't need an unseen servant for that. There would be an actual person. There's a person.
Wonderful.
There's a person for that.
Got it. I mean, my
Trish.
servants know exactly what they're doing, but sure, go for it.
Oh, this lady knows exactly what she's doing.
Oh yeah.
Not in a dirty way. This is a classy establishment. If he wants that, he can go to Salthouse Point. Massage with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Trish.
Trish doesn't really know what to expect from this kind of place, but she's open to it. So she just goes up to someone and says, I don't know, surprise me. And they decide to deep condition all of her fur. And it's great.
Yeah.
I think Jude follows Trish, like having a little girly sidebar. Like the separate bathing and so on and so forth. And joins for a deep conditioning, which Jude has never done. So Jude comes out as a
Glossy.
super fluffy white mouse, kind of like this style. Very fluffy. And I think they get their nails done.
Yeah, definitely.
They've got nails.
Yeah, sure. What color?
Floors?
Blue? Does Jude go? What color?
Just natural.
Or just natural? Alrighty.
Shiny red to match my lucky dagger. I think it has a red jewel on it. Shiny red.
Yeah, I feel like. I think it's got a ruby in the hilt. Yeah.
Yep.
Benneck.
Ooh, blueberry muffin scented shampoo. Thank you, Small Town Creepy.
Ooh.
I smell like blueberry muffins.
Yes, there's a lot of gluten in that shampoo.
The treatment that does not involve touching, like bathing, probably.
Oh, sure.
Like,
okay. Just
like soaking and then just like floating a bit and just letting like relax. He would get a massage because boy does he go everywhere and probably has a lot of like knots.
Sure. I think Benneck
Untangle.
would enjoy a total immersion tank.
But like
So-
a float
He
tank.
would.
Like a
If he's still
neutral
there.
buoyancy, buoyancy float tank. So Shillout is a fussy Gerbean woman, and not fancy style, even more so. But knows her trade and can tell what somebody needs from just looking at him. And she observes Benneck getting he's in a bubble bath. And she's like, that's not doing it for him. And then he sees him getting a massage. Is like, I think I know what you need. You come. Hands you a white towel to wrap around Donald Duck style. I really enjoyed that the
Respect.
only time you ever see Donald Duck covering up below the waist is when he's just bathed.
Because it's wet and you can see things.
Fair. Benneck follows her and she
lore.
takes you to a giant, like, it basically looks like a double bed-sized metal coffin. And she
We're about to
lifts the lid, and inside you see about 8 inches of salty water. And she says, try this. You just lie in it.
Okay.
I will come and get you in 30 minutes.
I wait for her to leave before.
Yeah.
She watched you bathe.
It was bubbles. There were bubbles.
Yeah, I mentioned
There
the
were
bubble
bubbles.
specifically for that.
There were
Yeah.
bubble censorship.
Still.
She leaves. She leaves you to privately untowel yourself and get into the total
I'm
immersion
not a
tank.
savage. Come on.
You've said that twice today. I feel like you're feeling attacked.
I am feeling attacked. Yeah, he does the thing. He just has to float. That's the simplest instructions ever.
Yeah. You
floats.
close the lid down upon yourself and you float. And yeah, you are left alone with your thoughts.
That's such a risk. He tries to forget. It's supposed to be relaxing. That's all he's getting. So he's trying to forget, if only for half an hour.
Oh.
Sure. Marvelous. All righty. So you have your spa day. You have your spa evening. It's trauma in the dark quarters. Wow. They may talk to the dean. Yes, they may. So that's a note I wrote myself. You head back in late evening to find the dean sitting at the table at Fancy's. He's staying there as well. And looks up and says, hello. Have a pleasant day.
Hello.
Newly minted Defenders of... Oh my goodness, you're so fluffy.
I am so fluffy.
Amazing. Splendid. Do you happen to have any of those gems on you, Benneck?
I check for whatever gems he wants.
The red and the white ones.
Yes.
He says, a few options have occurred to me, and if you and Nevermore are interested, your assistance would be appreciated. I can probably make some very useful things out of them.
Oh, go on. Proceed.
Well, a talisman of protection against certain forms of elemental magic.
That's probably quite handy.
Especially with the plan.
The plan?
No plan.
And no,
My
he says, like,
apologies,
he
Dean.
actually says, well, is there a plan? He seems excited. It's
I
like
kind
the
of
event.
I look at Jude and
The
like
thing's
try to make
cool.
eye contact with Jude.
It's like he's gotten the adventuring bug. He's still an academic. He's like Q.
How would one make it to the plane of fire?
Oh wow. Plat. Is that a Trish reaction?
It is now.
Yeah, that's canon. He goes, oh wow, gosh, wow, that is a plan. Okay. Wow. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you don't need a door.
A
You
door.
need a door.
Door?
A doorway, a portal would do. I
Like a
could
closable one.
Well, yes. Well, you really want a sort of dimension door. We
Can
could
you
probably...
learn Dimension Door?
I don't have the strength to cast it myself, actually, I'll be honest. But
Can I cast it?
no, almost certainly not, I'm afraid. No, without wanting to denigrate your remarkable skills, I'd be very surprised. It requires an awful lot of study. And really to do it safely to where you're wanting to go, you really need to ward the hell out of it first. However, these things would be exceptionally useful for that. And if you're wanting to survive in the plane of fire, they'll be essential.
Well, then.
But we
I
don't
could
want to get there and die instantly, so why not?
Well, no, exactly. You want something, if you're going to the plane of fire, you'll want either something that absorbs all the elemental plane of fire around you or counteracts it.
Well, how about this?
And
we assist, or however you need assistance in creating these talismans. And as a reward for being a savior of Alderheart, you will hopefully allow people at the Avium to assist us in either making our way to the fire plane or seeking communication with someone there.
he says, well, you'd have to do it at the Avium anyway. It's the only place that's safely warded enough to safely open a portal. The real trick is, how do you get back?
I learned Dimension Door.
Wait, weren't you there before?
That'll do it.
No, like weren't you guys saying that you were there before? How'd you get back the first time?
We were. A large lava dragon wished us back, or something like that.
Helvig's friend.
Wait, hang on, wait. You've been to the plane of fire already?
Yes.
Yes.
Where did you...
We followed Helvig there. Helvig touched a fire rune, and we kind of did the same thing and followed Helvig there and found Helvig.
Right.
But it was one-way trip, right? You had the lava dragon spit fire at you to get back? Is that what you said?
Sorry,
Yeah.
what was it? Yes. It's almost like I was banished, but
You probably were. It would just send you back to the original plane you were born on.
we think Helvig's alive, and we want to try and find Helvig.
If you could learn Banish, that would get you back.
Ooh.
That would get you back.
Can
But-
one of these guys learn Banish? Is that, I don't know, is that a hard one?
Can
That
you
was
banish yourself?
You can't banish yourself. I could give you a scroll of Banish. That would work.
I'm pretty sure that it's in School of
They're not cheap,
Abjuration.
but I can probably...
Does that take you back to where you are from?
Not the place of your birth, but the plane of it.
Yeah.
How about I know this is all new information for you, Dean, but how about you think on it?
Yes.
And if it is okay with you, put some of the more intelligent
will
minds of the
require the
Avium
faculty.
towards, yes.
This will
If
require
we
the
could
faculty.
do something like that, that would be amazing.
Professor Birchwalker will certainly be needed, as will your head of department, Benneck.
If we could at least reach out and see whether or not it's real first, before we, dive into the plane of fire.
It is real.
Nevermore, I know for a fact your father knew the sending spell.
But will that work? See, the thing is,
Could work.
Can we communicate with the fire plane?
Or somebody else on a different plane of existence.
Mitch, the
sending-
player,
Just sending
knows.
cross planes doesn't.
Mitch, the player knows that Ravanya tried to reach out and see what Helvig was doing, and was kind of was he cockblocked a little bit by?
It was called
But
or
But that
something.
was because of the spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've defeated the aspect of fire.
Helvig
It
is
should be
alone.
okay now.
He's not being possessed.
I mean, it might be worth a try. I think it might have been in my
And-
father's spell book. I could give it a try.
Do it. Prove I'm not crazy, please.
Of course.
Very well. Yes, certainly. If you're going to do a sending, you should probably set up an actual sending circle. Consult your father's book; it'll tell you how to do it.
I'll do that now.
Nevermore, as you begin doing that, there is a knock at the door. Fancy answers it, and a rotund, portly, even Jabin enters. Is an older man, who identifies himself as Castus Greenleaf.
The relief.
My name's Captain Littlefoot. No. No, he comes. He says,
die.
"Hello, Castus Greenleaf. Nice to meet you. I am," and he goes straight up to Nevermore and sort of clicks his heels together, back straight, and says, "I am the executor of your father's will.
Oh. Well.
I have your inheritance." And he gets out it's not a small bag, but it's a decent sized bag of jingles, like it's full mostly of coin, and a letter. And he says, "I am instructed to give you this," and hands you the letter. And we'll leave it there.
Bastard! How dare you, Josh?
I would like to thank
though.
everybody for watching and playing. That was good. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
You're a monster, honestly.
Yeah, I am. I'll take that. So, yes. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and playing. I'd like to thank the Deck of Many for what I'm sure you can agree was great work writing the source book. We have now moved fully into the unknown. We are beyond anything they wrote, and I'm terrified. Thanks, Serum, for your amazing work behind the scenes. As always, you're a lifesaver and a real good frog-shaped rock to rest upon. Thank you to Breepai, our amazing artist. They do incredible work. It's always top shelf. I want to thank our fabulous sponsors, Wooden Forge, purveyors of WA's finest handcrafted wooden tabletop accessories. It's supported from people like them that allows us to bring this kind of content to you. Please use, when you go to their website, woodenforge.com, go to the checkout once you've selected the beautiful things that you want to buy, and use code HUMBLE1 for a sneaky little discount there. They do amazing stuff. They very recently sponsored a charity show that I did over on my Corsair's Cove. They gave us a beautiful dice box. I'll actually show you guys because it's still sitting next to me. We haven't done the prize draw just yet. We'll be doing that in a couple of days. But this here, look at that. This is Tasmanian Blackwood. Is it not the prettiest thing? And inside is Bordeaux leather, which you can't even get on their website yet. I think they should include it though, because it's freaking gorgeous. Anyway, Humble One. Use that at the checkout for a discount. Now, as always, we're going to do some favorite moments. Who'd like to go first? Chat, please throw up your favorite moments. If you think we all did quite well, I think we all did quite well. Really think Josh should actually have to try and buy time and how talented the guy was. I'll read that later. Who do we think is good and why? I'd like to start with Dan, because I have a lot of Dan moments. Dan did phenomenally today. And if you don't want Benneck,
It was chat. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. All right.
As a friend of mine, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna get in there first. The "You're Real" speech, Dan. That for Benneck, who is a really quite closed off and reserved character, to tell that Jude needed to hear that was beautiful. It was really strong storytelling. Well done there.
My favorite Benneck moment was the recoil at the word family. Getting to learn a little bit more about Benneck this episode than I think we have all the time that Benneck has been with us.
I really liked toward the start where Nevermore's giving you shit and you're just like, I can't win with these people. It hurt, man. That was like, ouch. That was a really good moment.
Yeah.
Sorry. I appreciated Benneck's dream sequence. I thought that was great.
Yeah, Small Town Creepy agrees. Dream sequence was excellent. Omi's favorite moment was refusing to take Lazarus spellbook. Absolutely.
First, you don't want me to eat your father, and now you're gonna give me his life's work. What the fuck, man?
So it had occurred to me as the DM that Susan might look to Nevermore to check that it was okay, but then actually would have made the same offer on behalf of her dead friend, knowing that Benneck had just lost his book. So I really love, but I didn't. I really love that Nevermore went and did it anyway, though. And I also really love that you didn't take it. It would have been more of a. It would have been more of a struggle for you to be able to use it than Nevermore. Nevermore won't struggle at all. It's basically his book. But yeah, what was your favorite you moment, Dan? Because you were great.
Personally, it's like starting up all the like throwing the breadcrumbs now of like Benneck's story.
Yes.
I think how it started today was that like little slip up he did when talking about the avium. That was like I saw the moment that hasn't been said yet. That was like my favorite because it was like I set it up in such a way that it sounds like I was talking about the avium, but he was not talking, and I got caught on it by the dice.
Yeah, that was good. The dice did really well today as well. The dice came in good on the moments where they needed to. Like, props to the dice. Good job, digital
Good job,
randomizer.
dice.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Josh. That's how digital randomizers talk. Spoilers. That's a law drop right there. Josh twirls his mustache and says, yes.
Does it have some more yeehaw trauma in the future?
Heck yeah. No, because I don't know Benneck's backstory. I know Nevermore's. I know AJ's. I know Jude's. I know Trish's. Trish's doesn't have very much exciting trauma in it. But the other two have got a fair amount, but I don't know Benneck's trauma, so I can't pinpoint it, which was clever of you, Dan. Well done. Yeah, that's Dan's favorite moments. We thought he was very good. Any others in chat? No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. Excellent. Favorite dice moment? Failing during Nevermore's speech to really hit the race thing home. Yeah, no, I really like that. Yeah, I agree, Amy. All right, who else did really well? I mean, Nevermore did really well.
Look, I tried. An attempt was made. An attempt was made to try and rally the troops and to point out the fact that the bird folk are all privileged.
Yeah.
An attempt was made. And hey, that's, whatever.
No, and I would that be your favorite moment when you leaned into that? Is that what you were going with?
I'd say so, but also when while Benneck was doing his dream sequence, just the moment that I realized what my dream sequence would have to be. And I was like, yeah, that's 100% what I would dream of. Kind of going to sleep, just like hearing pretty much one of my father's last words. So
I love you. Yeah. And if you want a little bit of flavor to that, the sound of his voice saying that was the way he said it when he died. But it was the scene of him pecking him on the shoulder or pecking him on the cheek. Yeah. Cute. Seriously cute. Really nicely done. My favorite you moment was the offer of the spellbook. Particularly as it came right after the "don't you fucking touch him."
Look, and it was like, I can't win.
It was like, I wasn't going to eat him, but I'm not going to take his book. Yeah, good. Because Benneck appreciates how important that is. And I imagine there's an element of Benneck's backstory in it as well. Benneck's relationship with his own family, probably. Yeah. What else? Who else?
I was just going to go in and say the recap if anybody else is not going to point it out. I liked how solemn it was while still having the Mitch / Nevermore jabs in there, like positives. Foucar dying.
I think my favorite Nevermore moment was admitting that you're not sad and having that moment of, everyone's grief works differently. It was
I was going to say the same thing. I thought that was really, really interesting. Just trying to reckon with your emotions was really good.
Yeah.
I'm
We've got-
surprised. I'm surprised you didn't try to like do like a posthumous hero award for Phil or something like that.
No.
I'm standing up there. Phil Garp gave his life. I would have been like, oh god.
No, I didn't want to bait that. I didn't want to run the risk of you being a dick about it again.
Touche.
You may find a statue of him, but you'll have nothing to do with its dedication.
That's just going to be
I'm denying you. I am Phil Gart blocking you. Favorite Nevermore. Don't you dare fucking touch my dad, Benneck. And then turning around and dragging him to a spa day from Omi. Yes, lovely. And actually, I'm going to say I have another one as well. I really enjoyed
Me too.
Nevermore's joy at the notion of a spa day. Because I don't know if you if you remembered what Chill Out Sequester even was. Because it came up a long time ago.
I forgot the name of it, but like once you started to elaborate a little bit more, I was like, oh wait, the spa.
I immediately was like,
Hero landing.
I'd like to also just think in another favorite Nevermore moment was he was the one who like went to like deliver the idea or propose, there we go, that's the word, propose the idea to Benneck of like coming with and helping with the fireplane stuff, because like and like making him
Nevermore
feel
values
welcome. Yeah.
Cool. Love it. All right. Who else should we talk about? I want to salute to AJ for not feeling the best right now, and also still doing a great job. That's not my favorite moment. I just like hats off, because that was performing when you're not feeling 100% is rough. And so thank you for actually coming and doing so. Let's talk about what AJ did amazingly. AJ, tell me your favorite you moment. Build you up, and now I'm going to make you think.
I am still struggling to put sentences together. So my favorite Jude moment was actually storming away from Trish.
Oh.
Yeah, it hurt me to do it because I saw Rachel's face as soon as I like left from this beautiful story about her granddad, but I was like, Jude doesn't want to be told that what she's seeing is not real. And so when Jude figured out that that's where the story was going, she was like, no, and just left. And that was my favorite moment.
That was really good. I also really liked you holding on to the throwaway comment from last week about Jude being the stupid one and like taking that on, and it was just like, like she needed to be kicked in the shins anymore. Now she's got that in the back of her mind. It was brutal. Absolutely
She's not
brutal.
even the stupid one.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Perfectly in character. Don't apologize.
Oh yeah.
We got to the table, and then and I was like, you told me I was the stupid one, and you told me I wasn't. And then Nevermore was like, why would you tell her that? Did you miss that?
I did not miss that.
Jude trauma always on point. That's just nail it every time. But I just appreciate the as you progressively had a little bit more to drink, you leaned into that role play, and then the family chant just seemed to work. I loved it. So
that was going to be my favorite moment, was the family chants, the instigating that level of camaraderie. There's always been a little bit of it, but it spikes every now and again. And Jude instigating it was really lovely. But seeing as it's already been said, I'll say a different one. I liked requesting the whiskey. It took me completely off guard. I was like, oh.
Jude's a woman now.
How does And but because it forced me to go, what? Because Fancy deliberately is aware, because she's overheard a conversation about not treating Jude like a child, so is aware that Jude doesn't like being treated like a child. But Fancy's instinct was to go, no, I don't think that's a good idea. You're tired and very small, and you are still very childlike, even if you are technically not one. But Fancy went, no, she's a savior of Alderheart. She can have a fucking drink. She's also an adult. She can make her own choices. And yeah, having to play that out in my head and that thought process was fun. Do we have a raid? Readers!
Subscribe.
Scribe, you legendary people. Welcome. Scribe. Lovely to see you again. Des, Daria, AJ, how are you all? I've had the genuine pleasure to play with about half of Eldritch Scribe at this point. And they're amazing people, and we love them very much here on this channel. Daria will be doing the artwork for Humblewood of Monsters and Magic, and she has already produced the artwork for Kesh, and you can see it on Thursday if you come over to Corsair's Cove and have a watch. We adore Eldritch Scribe, but thank you so much for coming. We are just talking our favorite moments. We're talking about AJ, because AJ does some really, really great work. Cliffhanger, oh, Des, oh, you monster. Yeah, me too. Amazing. We had player deaths. Oh, wow.
Oof.
Cliffhanger res check. Oh
gosh, we had a player death last week, and we're dealing with the fallout from it. That's why we're a little bit low ebb this week. Yeah. Anybody else? Tell AJ how great she was. We have some from chat. Unless you want to dive in quickly, Dan.
My favorite AJ moment and Jude's is going up to Benneck to talk about to confess, basically, to let the heart bare. It's not just, I liked it because AJ is such a good scene partner to be in a scene with. You can just, we bounce off each other really well, but in that moment, Benneck didn't know what to do, but you got him to open up somewhat. I felt Benneck get emotional for you, if that makes sense. I really liked how it all shook up. I'd watch that again. I'd be I need to remember what I said, because I said some stuff.
I intend to watch it again. We've got some from chat. We have AJ rocks my socks from a Small Town Creepy, and it's generally a solid note. Omi, favorite AJ, I feel like I'm crazy, but I know I'm not. Knowing that people still don't take us seriously. Also later on ordering the whiskey and being choke, what the fuck is that? Why would people do that? Particularly it was I do this because my dad did it. I'm that's an interesting, knowing Jude's relationship with her father. Yeah. That was fun.
Every battle.
After every battle, I imagine he probably does. Yeah, I can imagine Jude's father being a drinker. Favorite AJ, return to the trauma. Thank you, Serum. Cool. Anybody else, or shall we move on to Rachel? Let's move on to Rachel. Rachel, tell me your favorite you moment.
I am very much enjoying walking the tightrope of not wanting to hurt Jude, but also not wanting Jude to get herself hurt. Because Trish is very much I don't think Helvig's alive, and if we go down this path, she's gonna get hurt. But also, I don't want her to think that I think she's crazy. It's a tricky line to walk, and I'm having fun. It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is the most strained that Trish and Jude's relationship has been so far. And I'm very interested to see, as this progresses, how that will change.
Yeah.
Because I made the deliberate choice of not staying in Trish's room. So yeah, there's something there. And I loved playing with that with you, because Trish has this motherly quality to looking after Jude. And that story you were telling about your granddad was beautiful. I think that's my favorite moment, and it sucks that I had to walk away because I wanted to hear the end of it. But yeah, it was glorious because you just pulled it out, and it was perfect for the moment.
Thank you.
Serum, damn it. I was
You're
just
not
gonna
allowed to
say
pick it because that's not canon. You didn't say
that's
that.
not canon.
I was just gonna say, just the reaction on your face was just priceless. When I
I
said
had a
that,
bath. And it was only like 12 or 13 on the performance check sex, so it wasn't particularly it wasn't sweaty sex. It wasn't like hardcore high end like athletics. Yeah.
I think it was mentioned last session that Trish has really fallen into the role of Mother Trish. And I feel like straight out the gate for this session, you came over to Nevermore to check if Nevermore was okay. It was like you were the one that went over to Jude. Like you're the one that just checks in with people a lot of the time. Whereas I know with Nevermore it needs to be more like obvious, like in his face for him to realize that something's up, because he's more self-centered. So so that's just an awesome Trish characteristic that you play into really well.
I want to clarify it because I don't get mama vibes. We used to say mama caper. I think it's big sister. I don't think it's a mother quality. Even with Jude, I think it's a big sister
I think
situation.
it used to be a motherly role because Nevermore used to have a fatherly role, and it was this weird parent and Jude child dynamic. But I think that's really changing the more these characters experience with each other, because there's now an equality between Jude and Trish that wasn't there prior.
A forced demanded equality.
A forced demanded equality. Yeah, it's very interesting.
You're not a kid after you've been through all the shit that we've been through.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Favorite Rachel being like, Jude, you're still on this Helvig isn't dead thing? Fine. But when we finally get to the end of this, you take the answer from Omi. I'm like, oh, man. I'm
ready for Jude's I told you so moment.
I feel like Nevermore's jumped on this idea of Helvig being alive as just something to hope
something
for.
to do.
Yeah. Because now it's like, what now? Oh, that's something to do and something to hope for. Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I've got another one for Trish if
I
haven't done, but either go for it, Dan.
Wow. Throw it into the fire. My favorite Trish moment, just to bring our lovely guest, Karen playing Cash tonight.
Yes.
Was the little just the way you guys talked with each other, however brief it was, you definitely felt the history, the friendship of take care of yourself, but whatever, how it was put. I love that. I was like, oh, cool. And then it's it was fleeting, but I still remember the feeling of it. It was nice.
Yeah. I really loved it because it also, Karen is stepping into the role and has already done a really good job of, she's already got clearly quite a reasonably good idea of who Kesh is. And the reason I asked Karen to do it is because I know Karen has watched almost every single episode, so she's up to date, at least mostly, on who Kesh is and what she's done. But yeah, despite the fact that Karen is relatively new to the role, we definitely got a very strong sense that, these two have a history. And you played it because you've already, Trish already knows Kesh, and just because you're talking to a different person doesn't actually, a different actor doesn't mean you're not talking to the same character. And props to Rachel because there was no visible differentiation between it. You as an actress went, same character, relate same way. They're talking slightly differently. I think Karen nailed it, but yeah, that was really, really cool. But I have to pick my own as well. I really liked, even when presented with that's interesting, the spine is hot. Even then, Trish goes, I still think he's dead. That was really interesting.
I get that point of view. Just because it's hot doesn't mean he's alive.
Hey?
Does Trish believe in definites?
I think so, yeah. I think she's never known anyone to come back from the dead. And she, as much as she would love for Helvig to still be alive, because she loved Helvig, she thinks it's a bad idea to hope for that. She thinks it's just going to get us hurt. She thinks we're going to be disappointed and have to grieve all over again.
If you survive going to the plane of fire.
Also that. So she's not like fully closed off to the idea, but she's like, I need more evidence than this because we saw him die. Like, I need more.
And that would be why it's my favorite moment, because again, props to Rachel as the actress. You are resisting the meta knowledge that this is a story, which is one of the hardest things to resist as a player. The knowledge that you are the hero of a story, and that heroes have a degree of plot armor, and that you know that you could probably go to the plane of fire and survive the experience because the DM will make it happen, but Trish doesn't. And it's separating that element of knowledge, that there's like, for example, the plan about getting Benneck back from the fortress and making peace between the bandit coalition and the people of Alderheart really only worked because you were the heroes. There wasn't any particularly strong logical reason for it to work, but it had to for the story to work. And it made for a really great story. But like in the world that we built, wasn't a particularly strong logical reason for it. But yeah, the resisting the urge to meta is really, really hard, and I applaud Rachel for that. So yeah, great. Splendid. We have a couple more.
Is matching your nails to the dagger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was lovely.
There's a subtlety to the way Rachel plays Trish, where Trish is a saucy minx, and I fucking love it.
Thank you.
Omi, for real, Jude isn't innocent or a kid. In the least, even before now. Again, probs about the same time she stabbed her rival in the throat, all casual like. Oh wow, okay.
Which one was that?
That was Omi.
Like
Omi said that.
That was like season 1.
Which rival? I don't know. I'm not even sure.
She already died.
Inform me about Humblewood lore. Who did I stab?
I
don't remember, but we killed her from the camp where I had like the matchmaking fight.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
She died there.
Yeah.
That's right. Jude killed a lot of people there.
The Vulcan woman whose name escapes me. Frey
Dennis.
Meriden.
No.
Frey Meriden.
Right.
Mother of Bunnies, you nail it. We believe in you. Bardic inspiration, contextually, ironically accurate here. Omi. Christmas release for me. Yes, it would. I'm really looking forward to Humblewood 2. Frantically tries to remember Kesh's accent. Mother of Bunnies. Yeah. It wasn't Benneck, it was Frey Meriden. Yeah, the dear chick. I forget her name.
You're right.
No, she
Frey
didn't.
Meriden. Yeah.
No, right. Frey was a Vulcan, but yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well.
DM moments.
Damn it.
You can never get away. I don't know why you try. Stop struggling.
It's just fun. I enjoy trying. All right.
Praise yourself.
The description of Fancy pouring the whiskeys.
Yes, it was glorious.
That was fun. It was like, oh, Fancy used to be a high-end bartender. Yeah.
I liked the Dean at the end getting really excited over adventures, and you even sat closer to the camera and you were like thinking physically, and it was very cool.
Yeah, I like describing him like Q, like James Bond, sort of like, I'm excited, I'm not going with you, but I am excited for this and to help you. Oh no, it sounds terrifying, I wouldn't go. No.
I appreciate the handling of the lore drop from Havel about the Hive Heart. That was
I didn't know about
great.
that. I was like, damn.
Jude,
so the Hive Heart was basically the opposite to the Borealis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only made that up this afternoon, so yeah.
Oh, see, I thought that I think maybe Jude had mentioned it, but I don't remember.
It's been in my head that it's related to the plane of fire for seasons.
I think I think AJ thought that it was the opposite to the staff. The
But
boreal.
yeah.
It's like it wasn't whole like the Borealis.
No. Yeah.
My favorite Josh moment was chill out. Just how the standard, the high standard that she has in being like, no, this is not good enough. I don't know what to do. They're like, okay. Man. Why did you shut her shop down? She's so good.
She wasn't making any money. Nobody had any money to afford her services. She's only reopened because the fires of death have stopped.
That's fair enough.
Guys,
None of you-
realization. We stopped the fires and death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Huzzah!
Omi, favorite Josh explaining to Jude why she couldn't cast Dimension Door, but she's still like, I'm a cast it. And yeah, he's totally humble you. Yeah.
I only wanted to cast Dimension Door because I want Jude to multi-class into Bard.
Sure.
It's a long way away.
Yeah, Bard, you're 7 levels of Bard away from Dimension
Yeah,
Door,
I
I think. Favorite Josh, the ongoing Warm Quill story. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh,
that was
wait.
made up on the spot. FYI, that only occurred to me during the scene. I was like, oh, and then AJ rolls a nat 20 to notice. And I'm like, oh
Of
my
course, it's
god.
Helvig related.
It's Helvig related story for Jude. The dice agree. Yeah.
Jude and Helvig have a kindred connection.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well,
Also, I'm pretty sure there's still fire and death because their fire runes are still out there.
Yeah.
have you
Like,
been?
not the
have
big
you-
one.
Have I been flattered enough? Or
No, I haven't said anything nice.
Go on then,
I've-
say something nice.
I have 2 nice things to say. I like when you,
Flattered enough.
and the answer is no.
Must I be flattered anymore? Gosh.
You sit there and take it, buddy. I like when you play Iralath always, but I specifically liked when Jude was being all traumatized about sex, and she's like, "Look, I thought I was helping. I
I
tried.
really
but
was trying to help.
this was not my intention. I was trying to help." And I also liked you leaving us on a cliffhanger, you bastard.
It's gonna be the same. It's from the same people with the knife again.
No. I'm going to be clear about this. The reason I left it on a cliffhanger is partially because it was funny, but partially because I only wrote this today and I didn't want to write that letter. I have asked Sean to write that letter.
Ooh.
This is the last letter that Lazarus wrote shortly before he left. This was written like 2-3 days ago.
Oh, that's hot.
Wow.
Heck.
Yeah.
That's
But I wanted
spicy
Sean to
shit.
write it because I don't want to be Lazarus, because Sean is Lazarus to this point where I think it would be disingenuous and not as good a story as we could possibly tell. So I've asked Sean to write it.
That's beautiful.
And when
That's
I
cool.
asked him, it was 5 o'clock in the morning where he is, so he probably hasn't seen the message yet.
That's my
Um,
Omi in chat said, I feel like Jude will never truly be happy unless there is always fire and death. Really sad. And
Wow.
also, I don't think that's true. I think I fingers crossed, Josh. I hope Jude eventually has a happy ending where she deals with her trauma.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah. Jude now
Step
knows
one.
enough about sex to have a happy ending.
I can't think about Jude in that way. I think Jude is ace. I can't.
Omi, they did a Kickstarter for Humblewood Book 2. It happened. It's on its way. I believe they are. I missed it. I'm that done. I didn't know it was happening until after the fact. But yeah. Alrighty. Well, we should go away from here now because we've been streaming for 3 hours. We actually nailed it this time around. We normally go way over. So we will leave it there. Guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and chat. Chat, it's always lovely to have you here. We will go now. And so please, guys, tell me who you are and where we can find you. Let's go backwards. Jude, AJ, tell me who you are. Then you can start thinking.
Hi, I'm AJ Winters. I'm a creative person. I wasn't expecting to go first, so I haven't scrambled together thoughts. I run.
Would you like
a
to go
world
last?
building- Huh? No,
Would you like
I'm
to go
just
last?
doing it now.
You're
I'm
there
in it.
now.
I'm
Don't stop the train.
I'm just gonna keep going with the words that I'm saying. I release videos every Sunday over in Winter's Tales for my World Builder series, where I'm slowly building a world one step at a time that I'm going to host and DM a game in next year. I'm very excited for it. I will post up the latest episode link in chat, so you can go check it out. It's about the culture of the farming city, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. The Tangle Wilds, Dust Bloom, and Fernveld. I love Fernveld. Fernveld's great. Dan, who are you? Where can we find you?
Hello, I am Dan. I am D-Red on Twitch chat and all the discords from all these lovely peoples. Come hang out. You're here on Roll for Damage Humblewood, so come hang out with Roll for Damage's Discord. I'm there. Send me cat pictures. That's what Serum always says. All the news. I am with these guys for Bizarre Humblewood this coming Wednesday. At Corsair's Cove.
Yes.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/Corsair's Cove. Yeah. You were on it yesterday.
It's a breeze. What is the time?
Yes.
Time's wild.
Playing Ficklehorn. Hashtag Ficklehorn himself.
God damn it. You can also find me back here for One Shot Wednesdays starting not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after for Avatar stuff and fortnightly then onwards. If you want more in a shorter amount of time, come hang out same time slot right here for Humblewood where I play Scarred Yeehaw Wizard Man. Now that you know that he's a bit had trauma behind him. That's it.
Chimiki Pirot. I don't know how to pronounce that, and I do apologize. Welcome. A French person really enjoying episode 1 of Humblewood. Well, then you've got a lot to catch up on. Congratulations, lucky you. This is ep 27 of this particular campaign, so you got a bit to watch.
Yeah.
I without wanting to blow my own horn too much, I am happy for you because you've got a hell of a lot to get through. And when you do so, we've got 2 seasons of Humblewood going now. In this world with 2 different crews, so it's a really exciting time. Right, enough of blowing my own horn. Mitch, tell me who the hell you are.
I'm going to keep it brief. Mitch, Earnshaw, Twitter, Mitch_Earnshaw, funny videos, here, Twitch, Roll for Damage, Mondays. Also, I'm going to be...
Short and confusing. Got it.
Very.
It was very cryptic.
Find me here on Twitch, and you'll see me on a Wednesday, Corsair's Cove, and I've got a Twitter.
I'm
Ended up taking longer when I had to explain it, so
You haven't said Twitter.
sorry for wasting all of your time. Twitter.
The Twitter.
There we go.
Great, thank you. And Rachel, who the hell are you?
Hello, my name is Rachel Foucar. I'm a writer, actor, and creative trash at large. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Rachel Foucar. All nice and concise, all the same handle. And you can find the book that I wrote, The Rings of Mars, right here on the internet, if you like sci-fi, space adventure type stuff.
And who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Exactly. With a bit of spy in there as well. It's real cool. All right. So, guys, please, if you've enjoyed, follow and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget also to check us out on YouTube. We have a couple of other things going on at the moment on the channel. We have a quest game, the quest system, which is really cool. And if you like D&D, but you can't get your head around all the rules, 5e does have a lot of rules. Try the quest system out. Strongly recommend. I'm playing in that game with Sean O'Donovan, our resident bad dad himself, is being our resident quest. It's actually not a DM, they call it a guide over on Quest. It's super easy, it's rules very light. You do it all with a d20, you don't have stats, and it's super nice. It's simple, and it's really heavy duty on the role playing. The Scales Above crew, or at least a good portion of them, are playing Quest on Saturday mornings for the next couple of Saturdays with Waffles from Waffles Maple Syrup and Kevin from Dirty 20 Gaming have come over and playing with us as well, which is good fun. And then me and Shannon and Roguzu with Sean DMing that. And then on the 29th, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, we will be having an Avatar game back. The Avatar crew will be on for a 6-part series, alternative Wednesdays, the first 3 of which will be here on Roll for Damage, and the second 3 of which will be over on Corsair's Cove, with Rhythm of the Mind coming back to DM that, and Dan and I believe AJ will be involved in it. How exciting is that, ladies and gentlemen? So guys, Mesdames et Messieurs, Damen und Herren, and beings of indeterminate gender and persuasion, I am Josh the Pirate. I have been your humble DM and storyteller this evening. If you've enjoyed my face and voice tonight, you can find me in Paparotica, at Fringe World, and generally infesting the art scene in Perth. I also have my own new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Corsairs Cove, with this fantastic crew playing on Wednesday evening in a one-shot Wednesday as Bizarro World versions of their own humble selves. And on Thursday night, we've got brand new Humblewood of Monsters and Magic coming to you with Kesh, with Nikolai Kravchenko and Josh Towns from Academy of Xandar, as well as Karen, the mother of bunnies, and a new player who no one's ever seen on Twitch because he's never done it before, Brendan Ellis, my original DM. Which is going to be pretty cool. One of the 2 DMs who taught me to DM. So yeah, Brendan is a fantastic, phenomenal collaborator.
Cool.
I've worked with
Master
for over
student
a decade.
story.
Dead set. Alternatively, if you like the majestic voice, but you think I could stand to turn the face down a bit, and that would be fair, I am also part of the There Be Dragons crew. We're a 5e D&D podcast in a fantasy gunpowder setting where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Scan Felspar. And now, the part I always love doing, we're going to go on a raid.
Thanks, Serum.
Yeah, thanks, Serum.
What Serum? Well, of course, always Serum. We love Serum. Thank you, Serum. Stop poking me. I would have done it. I didn't forget him. I never forget him. How can I forget him? He's my rock and my hard place. He is
Serum
my front
half an
straight
hour
rock.
ago.
And also,
Yeah.
I want to say, favorite Serum moment was all the images flashing up on our Zoom call.
No.
All the memes.
You
doesn't get to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
We're going to be raiding Agent Number 1. He's playing Total War Warhammer 2. He's extremely good at it. I've learned an awful lot from watching him. So yeah, guys, check out Agent. Throw him some love. Chuck him a follow if you aren't already. Agent has played on Roll for Damage before, and he's a lovely, lovely person. So check him out and say hi and tell him where you've been and throw up your raid emotes. And we'll see you next week, or hopefully much sooner, over on Corsair's Cove. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Start that
everybody.
raid up now. We've got 6, we've got 7, we've got 14, we've got 22 people ready.